Hi, thank you for watching my channel today. My name's Sarah and my channel is called Your Tree Shelf. Today I was just going to have a little kind of a bookish catch up and do a bit of a currently reads and talk about my reading plans for February, even though we're already halfway through February. I haven't been having a really good reading month, and it's not because of the books I'm reading, because I'm loving the books that I'm reading. It's just because I've been really tired. You can probably see I've got really big bags under my eyes, and I just feel like I haven't slept enough this month. I haven't got 8 hours sleep, I don't think, any day this month, and I seem to have to get up for like work or school or something like that every day. And the weekend, it was just my daughter's birthday, which was a really lovely weekend, but because of the excitement, she was obviously up really early. So every evening when I've tried to read, I've just been like kind of falling asleep, which is not very good. So I had a brilliant month in January. Like, I read 9 books in January, and this month it's been really bad numbers. And I know it's not a numbers game, but I really love in the books that I'm reading, so I just want to read them. So let me tell you what I'm currently reading. I'll show you, like, I've hauled a couple, and then I'm just going to tell you about actually I'm going to change that. So first of all, I'm going to tell you what my plan is for February, which I'm hoping to kind of continue through the months, and then I'll show you what I'm reading, what I've hauled recently, and yeah, that'll be enough, won't it? So basically, I have an idea that each month I'm going to read a new book. So one of the books I've recently bought, which I'm super excited about, an old book that I've had for ages, and it should be that I'm not disappointed by that old book because I've done so much unhauling. And if I am disappointed to pick up a book, then I can unhaul it again. And so an old book, a new book, a Kindle book, because I have quite a lot of books on my Kindle and they tend to go forgotten. A library book, because I've got tons of really cool library books out at the moment. My book club book, which is The Crossing Places by Elly Griffiths. A borrowed book, so one of the books that people have lent me that I've had for ages and I haven't read, and a audio book. So I've got an idea of 7, which I think is achievable. So that's my kind of plan. I just made like a little list, and I can plan the book and cross it off each month. So I just thought that would be a nice way to make sure I was reading across all of the kind of types of books that I have. So for my old book this month, I am reading All the Bright Places by Jennifer Niven, which is a YA book. And this also fulfills one of the prompts for the reading challenge I'm doing this year. His name escapes me. The Read Harder Challenge, I think it's called. And one of them is read a book where you've already watched the TV or film adaptation, but you haven't read the book yet. So this fits this category because I watched the film of this and I loved the film. And I found this secondhand. And this is a YA book, and it's about a girl called Violet and a boy called Finch. And Violet's sister died in a car crash that they were both in. And since then, Violet's had some struggles with her mental health and also her ability to get into cars. And Finch has a mental illness that we don't really know what it is. I'm suspecting it might be like bipolar or something like that, but there's no label being put on it. And he goes into these really deep depressions cyclically, and he just kind of sleeps and goes AWOL for these depressions. And I think Violet hasn't found that out about him yet, but he's called like a freak around school, and he's bullied and stuff like that because he's a bit different to the other kids. So it kind of covers that as well. And I'm really, really enjoying this. It's told in a dual perspective, so we get chapters from Violet and chapters from Finch. And how far through am I with this? So I'm 172 pages through, which is there. I could easily just sit down and finish this because I'm really enjoying it and it's not hard to read. It's just the the falling asleep thing and the time. So that's my old choice because I've had that for a while. My new choice is a book which is very exciting, which is my first John Gwynne. It's The Shadow of the Gods, and this is a first in a fantasy series. I don't know if it's a trilogy, I'm not sure. I think his other series have been trilogies. And this is fairly new out, so there's no other episodes. There's no other books in the series have been released yet, so I'm up to speed with it. This is a Norse-inspired fantasy, and it's set from 3 different viewpoints. So we have 3 different sort of groups of people that we're hearing from who haven't come together yet, but I'm guessing obviously they are coming together. And so far, like, even though I am, how far through am I? I'm 115 pages through. I'm really, really enjoying it. The writing's good, it's exciting, it's easy to read, the world building is good. I would say that I don't really know where the story's going yet, because we haven't got anything that unites the 3 perspectives, which will obviously be coming, but I'm enjoying each perspective. There's quite a lot of sort of battles and things like that involved, and yeah, I can't really tell you too much else about it because I don't really know. It says on the back, a brand new Norse-inspired world packed with myth, magic and bloody vengeance. The Shadow of the Gods begins an epic new fantasy saga from the best-selling author John Gwynne. So yeah, I cannot tell you really much more about it other than I'm really enjoying it. So I'm reading alternate chapters of those 2 books at the minute. Then for my audiobook, I am listening to The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. This is a book that got quite a lot of buzz, I'd say, last year on BookTube. This is a fantasy about Addie, who is born in 1700s in France. And she's really dissatisfied with her life, and all that awaits for women really is to marry someone that they probably don't love and raise children, and there's nothing else for them in life. And she doesn't want that, and she makes a deal with somebody who she calls the Dark One, I think. So she basically keeps praying to these sort of gods, and one day one of these gods appears to her and says, like, okay, fine, I'll grant you a wish. And she wishes for freedom and I think eternal, I don't know if she actually wishes for eternal life, but she wishes that she doesn't want to die and she wants to be free basically, but she doesn't really negotiate any terms, and it turns out that the pact she makes basically means that she can live forever until she's tired of doing so, but nobody will ever remember her. So once she kind of leaves a room, say, and goes back into a room, those people will have no idea who she is. So she has to survive, and it's set between 1700s France and modern day New York. And again, really enjoying that one as well. And then for the library book, I haven't chosen yet, and for the borrowed book I haven't chosen yet. Kindle, I'm reading Too Fat, Too Slutty, Too Loud by Helen Petersen, which is a book about the rise of the unruly woman, and it's essays on different celebrities which are to something according to the sort of media, and talks about how these women are basically kind of trolled and put down and criticised and things in the media. So far I've read Too Strong, which is about Serena Williams, Too Fat about Melissa McCarthy. Now I'm reading Too Gross about 2 comedians on TV, but I don't actually know who they are, but it's still interesting. So I've read some of those essays. That's kind of my plan at the moment with what I'm reading. So I'm having a really good time with the books that I'm reading. It's just me. It's just that I need to make more time for reading and get more sleep. That is the crux of the situation. So in terms of what I've recently hauled, I've got some library books, of course, because, you know, I've already got about 500 library books, so why not get some more? So the first one is one that I had on order, and let me just take the bookmark out. Yeah, I had it on order. I saw it on Jen's channel, really wanted to read it, and this is The Secret Lives of Church Ladies, which is a lot smaller than I thought. It's a teeny little book. This is short stories, and this is about the raw and tender places where black women and girls dare to follow their desires and pursue a momentary reprieve from being good. The 9 stories in this collection feature 4 generations of characters grappling with who they want to be in the world, caught as they are between the church's double standards and their own needs and passions. So isn't the cover just beautiful? I love the cover, and it's a bit glossy because it's got a library jacket on, but National Book Award finalist. So yeah, I am really excited to read that. Then this one this is a middle grade book that I just picked up while we were in our local library, which I could read for middle grade March, which is coming up soon actually. And I just remember Charlie Brooke, when she used to do YouTube, she mentioned this book, and I can just remember how much she loved it. And it's The House with Chicken Legs. I'm not really sure what it's about. So it says Marinka dreams of a normal life where her house stays in one place for long enough for her to make friends, but her house has chicken legs and moves on without warning. For Marinka's grandmother is Baba Yaga. He guides spirits between this world and the next. Marinka longs to change her destiny and sets out to break free from her grandmother's footsteps, but her house has other ideas. Okay, so it's a Baba Yaga retelling, which would be cool. And the other book I got from the library was one which is the group book for middle grade March, which I found at the library. So this book is called Pony, and this is by R.J. Palacio, and they wrote Wonder, which I absolutely loved, and so I'm really excited to read this. So this is about a boy called Silas, I believe. Yeah, Silas. He wakes up and watches as 3 strangers take away his father. His only companion in life is somebody called Mittenwool, who is a ghost. And then a pony shows up at his door, and he has to start a perilous journey to rescue his father. So this is supposed to be really amazing. So middle grade March, if you're not aware, is a readathon hosted by Katie at Life Between Words, and I think somebody at a channel called Books and Jams, which I haven't ever watched before. So they host middle grade March every March, obviously, where you can just read one middle grade book to take part, or there are 5 prompts and a group book if you want to take part in all the books. So I'll link the details for that down below if you're interested. Then the final library book was one I ordered in because I saw this on Ruby Granger's channel. I love Ruby's channel, I really do, and she loves all things Victorian, and she did a video which was all the books that she read in 2021. I think there was like 100 and something books, and she really briefly talked about every single one, which was actually really enjoyable. And one of the books that she mentioned, I just kind of fancied reading, and it's called How to Be a Victorian by Ruth Goodman, co-author of the #1 bestseller Victorian Farm. And yeah, it's actually a little bigger than I thought it would be, but I just think it would be really interesting. Like, so it says on the back, for instance, we know what life was like for Victorian Albert, but what was it like for a commoner like you or me? How did it feel to cook with coal and sprinkle tea leaves on the carpet, drink beer for breakfast and clean your teeth with cuttlefish, dress in whalebone and feed opium to the baby? Oh my God. Drawing on historian Ruth Goodman's unique first-hand experience gained from living for a year on a Victorian farm, as well as a life devoted to practical historical study, this book will teach you everything you need to know about 19th century living, from morning to night, kitchen to textile mill. That sounds fascinating. Like, I'm really excited to read that. So that's my library books, and I just have 2 to show you that I bought recently. So one of them is the first in a fantasy series, surprise, which is Jade City by Fonda. So I saw this on lots of people's best of the year books from 2021. It's a fantasy series which I've heard lots about. It's an urban fantasy, and it's about basically Jade being the lifeblood of a city, and a war, a kind of, I think it's sort of like a gangland type of war, but set in a fantasy setting. So that's supposed to be very good. And then the last one is one which really interested me. I saw this on Louise Savage's channel, and she mentioned some books. I can't remember what the theme of the video was, but she mentioned books I think that she's read a while ago, and they kind of always stuck with her. And this one sounded really cool. So this one is a Boudica by Manda Scott, and it's called Dreaming the Eagle. So it's the first in a trilogy. And Boudica is of interest to me because I grew up in Colchester, which is Britain's oldest town, and they're Iceni tribe who Boudica led were part of like Colchester's history, so I feel like I grew up hearing about her all the time. So this sounds just really fascinating. So it says at 12 she killed her first warrior. At 21 she defended her land against an invasion by the most powerful empire the world had ever seen. At 40 she led her people in a bloody revolt and became a legend. Set in a Britain before the Romans came, Manda Scott's thrillingly imagined novel brings the brutal world of druids, dreamers, warriors and their gods to vivid life. The opening chapter in a story of passion, courage and spectacular heroism pitched against overwhelming odds. I mean, doesn't that sound amazing? It's a big book, but it's one of those ones that's really quite little. So I don't know what the word for it is, but it's kind of like a pocket-sized book. So I'm really excited for that. So that's kind of my currently reading plans and haul that I've just sort of done all in one video. So if you've got any tips about how to get over the whole falling asleep thing, that would be good. We've also watched a few things on TV recently, which I guess takes away some reading time as well. Like Trigger Point, for instance, is one thing we're watching at the moment. But yeah, I just need to like really push myself a bit more because these books are also good and I just really want to get to them all, and it's not a reading slump, which is good. So anyway, I am going to sign off now. Tell me if you've read any of these, if you want to read any, what you're reading, just say hello. It's really lovely to get any comments from people. So yes, I hope you all have a lovely week and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.